Hello, everyone, and welcome to the YouFab Global Creative Awards 2021 Awards Ceremony. My name is Kelsey Stewart. I am the Chief Community Officer at Fab Cafe, and it is my great pleasure to be joining you all here today to celebrate this year's YouFab winners. Great. YouFab is an award that started in 2012 as a contest for creators who were gathering at Fab Cafe in Tokyo. The awards recognize and celebrate creative works and inventions that stem from a powerful collaboration between digital and physical fabrication, based on the concept that Fab is creativity that transcends and combines the digital and physical realms. I'm very excited to announce that Fab Cafe and YouFab itself are both celebrating our 10th anniversary this year. It was in 2012 that Fab Cafe Tokyo opened in Shibuya, Tokyo, in order to provide a more casual and open space for people to experience the concept of Fab, as proposed by MIT professor Neil Gershenfeld. This was the starting point of Fab Cafe, which has now expanded to 13 locations worldwide. Since the beginning, Fab Cafe has been empowering anyone and everyone to find their answer to the question, what do you fab? In today's world where values are in a constant state of flux, Fab Cafe and the YouFab community will continue to collaborate with new friends to find new answers to this question. Every year, YouFab seeks works that reflect upon current events that affect our world today. We look at how bridges are connected between various elements such as the environment, social issues, economic shifts, and the political climate with art and design. The theme for this year was democratic experiments created by the YouFab 2021 Chief Judge Asa Ito. Through this deep and timeless theme, we explore the myriad human and non-human stakeholders, the democratization of technology, as well as pressing contemporary social issues such as power inequality. Every year, we gather judges for the YouFab who we believe embody the YouFab mission. Our judges for YouFab 2021 came from diverse perspectives and include Asa Ito, who is the Chief Judge and Director of the Future of Humanity Research Center, located at the Institute of Innovative Research inside the Tokyo Institute of Technology. Next, we have Roll Schoenmakers and Fiona de Bell, who are initiators of Costcoland, an international Amsterdam-based network of artists, architects, designers, and performers. Third, we have Kampire Bahana, Uganda-based and world-renowned DJ, and writer and artist organizer at the Nyeg Nyeg Collective. Fourth is Arina Tsukada, curator and editor of Bound Ball at the Osaka University of Arts. This year, YouFab 2021 Global Creative Awards were supported by the Panasonic Group. 4 special prize finalists and 1 special prize winner were selected under the Panasonic Prize. For the special prize, Panasonic emphasized with this year's YouFab theme and adopted the democratic experiments concept for their special prize. As a large Japanese manufacturing company, we appreciate their mission to improve people's lives through creating goods needed for society and provide wholehearted services by continuing to ask quality questions in a corporate context. Our judges for 2021 YouFab Special Prize include our Chief Judge for Special Prize, Tatsuo Ogawa, who is the Panasonic Corporation Executive Officer and CTO. Joining Chief Judge Tatsuo Ogawa is Creative Director and Strategic Consultant, Producer, Curator, and Writer, Ardian Koch, as well as the Locked Work co-founder, Chiaki Hayashi. We are both honored and humbled to be supported by the Panasonic Group this year and look forward to hearing from the special prize winners shortly. This year was a record-breaking year for YouFab with the highest number of entries to date. This year, we gathered 335 entries from 26 countries and awarded a total of 19 creator or creator teams. Winners were selected on the criteria of, is it innovative? Is it aware of the audience? What is the quality of the experience? How is the theme interpreted? Is it open-minded? And finally, does it hold the Fab spirit? All finalists and winners will receive a special certificate fabricated at Fab Cafe Hida and designed by the YouFab art director and designer Kazushige Takebayashi of Shaw Inc. Grand prize winners will receive a beautiful 3D printed trophy called Throne, designed by Kohei Nawa, who is the director of Sandwich, a creative platform for production based in Kyoto. The grand prize and student prize winners will also receive prize money. Without any further ado, I would now like to bring to the Zoom stage this year's Chief Judge and YouFab Thought Leader, Asa Ito, to say a few words before each judge announces the YouFab 2021 winners. Asa, are you here with us?
Okay, thank you, Kelsey, for introduction. My name is Asa Ito from Tokyo, Japan, the Chief Judge of the YouFab Global Creative Award 2021. I'm very excited to host this beautiful virtual ceremony. We welcome all of you who wish to be inspired by amazing works and never give up, having imagination for a better future. This year, the YouFab Award called for submissions under the theme of democratic experiments. And finally, it got as many as 335 entries from 26 countries and regions. This is the largest number in the 10-year history of YouFab Award. I really appreciate your challenge and efforts and maybe patience that are needed to enter an award. To be honest, the theme democratic experiments was not so clear even for judges when we opened the door for the entry last year. We were fascinated by this phrase, but no one could tell what kind of democratic experiments can be made in the context of publication culture in exact. The answer was there in the submitted works. This must be an unusual judging process, but the criteria itself was fabricated through the silent conversation with submitted works. Works which got a prize are those which taught us the most on the theme. Lastly, I want to say huge congratulations to prize winners from my heart, and looking forward to discussing on your works and also on the theme of democratic experiments from now on. Thank you and enjoy.
Great. Thank you so much, Asa Ito, for your comments. I appreciate your greetings for today. Next, I would like to go into part one, which is the introduction of the winning works. To begin, we will be going towards a video by Kampire Bahana. Unfortunately, she could not join us live today, but instead kindly recorded a video announcing 4 of the finalists and student prize winners. So I'll be showing the video of this now.
Good afternoon and welcome to the YouFab Global Creative Awards. My name is Kampire Bahana. I'm a judge this year and last year. It's been a privileged experience to participate in the YouFab Global Creative Awards. I wish I could be with you in person, but as a result of other commitments and time differences, I have recorded this video. Congratulations to all the winners and all the participants in this year's Global Creative Awards. As I said, it's been a privilege to be a part of the judging process and to see all the wonderful submissions, all the exciting design ideas, all the attempts to deal with the theme of this year, to see how different teams in so many different parts of the world are dealing with issues of sustainability and creativity and applying their specific skills to how we can make this world better. I'd like to announce the finalists and the winner of the student prize. First on the list is the Loop by Wavy Design. Loop is a wonderful washing kit for reusable menstrual pads, uses very little water and can be applied to a variety of situations, refugee situations or places where people have lack. This one was particularly close to my heart. as a woman, as someone who comes from an area that deals with water scarcity. So congratulations to Wavy Design. Thank you. Second finalist is Ashi, the banana paper brand by Takuya. This one was another beautiful submission. Again, something that I feel is close to my heart, coming from Uganda, where bananas are a main crop and where creative people are always looking for different ways in which to use all parts of the banana and the banana plant. I also really loved that it was a community project, that the entire community has gotten involved in developing this brand, and hopefully the entire community will also benefit from it. So thank you and congratulations to Takuya. The third finalist is The Kiss by Antoine Geiger and August Halkemer. This was a wonderful public art project based in Taormina, Italy, in which a modular mini library and public seating area was placed in the town square, in which the community that uses it can switch it up and switch it around and design their own meeting place. I thought it was a beautiful expression of community, of public space, particularly after COVID, where many people need to meet outdoors. I thought it was a wonderful project, and congrats again to the winners. Finally, we have the student prize, which was the Embrace by Silke Hoffman. The Embrace is a wonderful bra designed by the people that use bras, designed to keep the very different shapes of women in mind, designed to address women who have had mastectomies from breast cancer, and also just beautifully designed and beautifully done. So it was really my pleasure to vote for this and all the other entries in this year's YouFab Global Awards. Thank you so much for having me again this year. It's really a privilege to participate. My name is Kampira Bahana, and congrats and thank you to all the winners and all the participants again. Thank you.
Great. From now, I would like to go in order to receive comments from the winners who Kampide has called upon. So first we have Wavy Design, Luke, Chuklam Wong. Chuklam Wong, are you here with us now? I think perhaps it might be tough to find you right now, so I'm going to go ahead and move forward. I know that banana paper brand Ashi, the member Takeo Yamase, is not with us now, so I would now like to go to The Kiss, which is by Antoine Geiger and August Halkemer, who also cannot join us today. And then here we are now at the student prize and special prize finalist, Silke Hoffman, who is the creator of Embrace. Silke, are you here with us now? Can you join us on the Zoom stage?
Hello.
Hello, thank you very much for joining us.
Thank you. I would like to thank the YouFab Global Creative Award jury for awarding Embrace with the Student Prize 2021. Thank you to the YouFab team for your kind communication around my nomination, which was not easy because I'm a particularly old student and I was not sure if I deserved this award. And thank you for convincing me otherwise. Embrace is a collaborative project that is concerned with the breast support needs of females who are affected by breast cancer. Females, designers, and other specialists work together as equal partners in the design process. And in this sense, I'm accepting the award for the entire Embrace team. Congratulations to all fellow winners and finalists. I'm amazed by your deeply important projects, and I'm honored that Embrace is in such great company. It strikes me as relevant how this cohort of creatives that the award jury has given recognition to unites around a sense of urgency for change of action. Feminist human rights, dignity, equality, and ethical cohabitancy of all earthly forms, grassroots democracy, responsible, resource-conscious, empathetic, smart technology, ancient wisdom of consumption and circularity, freedom and peace. When I reflect on the last weeks in Europe and look at how people in my city of Berlin are stepping up, embracing thousands of war-displaced people who are arriving from Ukraine at our train stations every single day, sharing homes and resources, spending time together, connecting, becoming inventive hackers and creative designers in the midst of overwhelm and uncertainty, I get the impression that this cohort is actually much, much bigger. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Sophie, for that very impassioned comment. I deeply appreciate your focus on contemporary events, and thank you again for accepting your prize. I do believe that in the meantime, Chu Lam has been able to rejoin our Zoom from the Wavy designer Chu Lam. Can you hear me now?
Yes. Hello.
Great. Would you like to make a comment in acceptance of your award?
Yes, it's my honor to accept this award. Sorry, what are you supposed to say now?
You're okay. Thank you so much for joining us. Would you like to say a comment in regards to your award?
It's my honor to accept this, and that's really out of my expectation. That it's not sorry, it is not just only I'm to the finalists, but also like with the special prize finalists. So thank you very much. Sorry, I was on my way to work, so that's why I was noises and that. I apologize about that.
Understood. Great. Well, thank you so much for joining us today and for being able to join us while you're having your busy day. We appreciate your presence here today. Great. So next, I would like to bring to the Zoom stage Roel Schoenmakers from Cascoland. Roel, are you here with us?
Yes, hello.
Hello.
Can you...
Yes, I can hear you very well.
My name is Roel Schoenmakers. I'm representing the Cascoland collective from Amsterdam and my co-initiator, Fiona de Bell, who's unfortunately not with us today. We were very honored to be part of the judging committee over the last few months, and it was very interesting to see all the very valuable entries to the competition. Our collective is an internationally operating network of designers, visual artists, performers, and we always work in a multidisciplinary team because we think it's important to make an impact, and we are always aiming our projects at a more ecological and social sustainable society. Therefore, we promote sustainable use of spaces, skills and resources, empowerment of communities, implementation of innovative social and low-tech solutions addressing local needs, bottom-up development and shared ownership of public space, which is an important one to us, and the reevaluation of old concepts like the commons to come to a more democratic society. Of course, these are also the factors that we have been judging the entries on, and I want to start with the first finalist that we have chosen, Reclaim Our Streets. Very interesting project about a more democratic and inclusive design for public spaces, because it is addressing a very real threat a large part of society is experiencing on a daily basis, not being free and secure as a woman in public space. And for a healthy, inclusive society, a healthy, functioning public space that is accessible for all, where everybody is free to engage, navigate, express, dress, and behave themselves, always respectfully to the other, is essential. So important on this in this project, we think that the end user of the public space is becoming part of the design process in designing more women-friendly public spaces. The next project finalist that I want to announce is the public transport lounge project from Bangkok, Thailand. What we like very much is that this is also addressing the functioning of public spaces. And what the designers did here is that this is in a train station in Bangkok, where you are not allowed to sit on the floor. They started actually an action research. And the first day they put mats down for people that were traveling to a train station to be able to sit down. And over the days following, they put these seatings there and plants. And as such, they try to reappropriate the public space of the train station in Thailand, in Bangkok. We like the trial and error approach, the researching in a practical way how public space can function best. The third finalist I want to introduce is the Tsinamikuta project from Mexico. Where actually a magnetic mineral that was taken from a mine was aligned with the human energy of the participants in the project. And what we like about this project is the connection it is making with our soil, with our earth, with our planet. Modern man seems to have a very short memory span, but we think our ancestral knowledge can be key to the challenges we are facing nowadays due to industrialization and overpopulation, which leads to climate change, exhaustion of resources, and a general disconnectedness to our ecosystems. And this project, Tsinamikuta, is trying to readdress this connection, because of course, the ecosystem we are part of, we are just a small stakeholder, we are influencing the ecosystems at the moment at a very large scale, and we have to reconsider our position in our ecosystem. So we like that project a lot as well. The final finalist I want to introduce is Nahov. It's a transcription app from Iran. Of course, the purpose of this transcription app is to secure private communication and conversation, which in a over digitalized world, it's easy for governments and authorities to control our communication, and I think so. This is a wonderful tool to allow for democratic participation. Very important in the whole current situation that we are facing now in the world, where fake news and influencing of public opinion by twisting and distorting the truth is used on a daily basis. We witness now with the terrible war in Ukraine. And so I think when we chose this project now, the situation was not existing yet, but it goes to show that it is important to address these kind of security, personal, private issues. So I want to congratulate all the finalists, and we were very impressed with the work. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much, Raul, for your comments. I deeply appreciate the time that you've spent to consider each of these individually. Today, joining us to receive comments is a member from the project entitled 10490 Public Transit Lounge. Could that member please join us on the Zoom stage? I believe Don Laporne. Thank you so much. Please feel free to unmute yourself. I'm just going to show about your project here, but please, you can reply.
All right, thank you. Hello, thank you, YouFab, for having me today. I am Dolapon from Cloud Floor, one of the designers of 10490 Public Transit Lounge. On behalf of the Association of Siamese Architects Community Act Network, I would like to thank all the judges for going through so many applicants. I also would like to congratulate all the finalists and more importantly, those of you who are the winners of each category. We have a lot more to do in Thailand in order to nudge our country to progress toward democratic ideals. Our work was just one of the many attempts to highlight the inequality, the repression, and the lack of freedom that we may not notice in our everyday life, because we have been socially conditioned into thinking that we are much freer than we actually are. I want to thank you, YouFab, again for recognizing the importance of this topic, and our group hopes to continue communicating and raising awareness about this important cause in many creative ways. Lastly, hope you follow our works and hope to meet you all in person as the world becomes open for business again. Thank you very much.
Kelsey, mute.
Thank you. Thank you very much, Don Laporn, for joining us today and for submitting this wonderful entry to YouFab. We appreciate your participation in the award ceremony today.
Thank you.
Next, I would like to bring to the Zoom stage Arina Tsukada, curator and editor. Arina, are you here with us now?
Hello.
Hello.
Can you hear my voice?
Yes.
Okay. Okay. First of all, so nice to meet you. I'm Arina Tsukada. So I'm a member of the jury. Yeah. Anyway. So congratulations to all the awards winners. And so this time was a very, very precious opportunity for me. So for the first time, so to participate so as a member of YouFab. And so in this opportunity, so through judging entries from all over the world, so I was able to learn about issues of the current global concern. And so what was even more interesting thing was the theme of this year's drive, so democratic experiments. So the question and the theme have developed into the next correction. So democracy for whom? Yeah. In other words, so democracy on the planet is not just for humans. I think so. The result is a very, very unique. Yeah. Anyway, it's a very interesting process. So thank you for inviting me. And the next, so I want to introduce the finalists and the awards members. So please help me to translate with Ota-san. So from now, so I want to speak in Japanese. Ota-san, お願いします。はい。じゃあ、一つずつちょっと作品を今から紹介していきたいんですけれども。
So I'll go through each work one by one.
はい。これ、4作品全部喋っちゃっていいんですよね。で、今聞いてすいません。
Kelsey?
If it's possible for you to do one at a time, and then we'll have the members come to join.
Okay.
だから一つずつ。
OK です。了解です。じゃあまず一つ目は、
So the first one I would like to cover is
シペラピ・ペトリックのプレイですがファイナリスト。
Play by Shupila got received as a finalist.
はい、おめでとうございます。
Congratulations, Shupila.
で、このプレイというものが、はい、シペラ。で、プレイというのがですね、この植物が育っていく様子をこうリアルタイムでセンシングしていくというインスタレーションなんですけれども。
So this is basically an installation that sort of you can witness how the plants are growing on a certain environment.
はい。なんかまずはすごく面白いなと思った点は、こう植物というこう異種なる存在と向き合うために、シペラというアーティストやこう科学者やエンジニアや哲学者とこうコラボレーションしていくっていう姿勢がとても面白いなと思いました。
And one thing that I I feel very interesting was that to sort of express how they grow, the challenge was tackled by the team of different professionals, combining artists and scientists and philosophers, and that combination was something that was most interested to me.
はい。で、実はシペダはですね、昨年、2121デザインサイトというミュージアムのトランスレーションズ展というエキシビジョンで、作品を出展してもらい、その時は私がキュレトリアルアシスタントを務めていたという機会もあったんです。
Actually, Shupila and I had an opportunity to work together through the exhibition called Translations held at Roppongi 2021
Design Site.
で、
その時にですね、トークイベントでシペラとお話ししたことがあるんですね。
And I had a chance to talk with her at the event.
で、その時にすごく私が強烈に感じたのが、もうそのシペラ本人によるですね、絶対に植物のことを理解したいというすごく強烈な情熱だったんですね。
And at the time, I was so impressed by the Shipira's strong sort of will to make this particular subject, plant, understandable, make people understand them.
で、今回、その民主主義とは誰のものなのかとか、あとはその人間以外の存在を理解することは、人間以外の存在に意識を向けることはできるのかという問いが浮かび上がったときに、このシペラの持つですね、植物への飽くなき情熱みたいなものが、なんかすごく大事な一助になるんじゃないのかなと感じたのが評価理由です。
When I sort of I was touched upon by this year's theme, democracy, it came to me that her passion about the plants, I felt that it must a strong relation with the thinking about the democracy, not just human, but something non-human.
はい、以上です。ありがとうございます。
Congratulations.
Great. So I'm going to just share the screen really quick so that we can see the main visual for the work called Play while the comment is being received by the creator, the Play Posse.
Very, very much for this recognition. It really means a lot. I would like to actually use this opportunity to emphasize the huge group that is actually behind this work, because it addresses really, on one hand, plants, but also the algorithmic cultures that we live within. So there's Benjamin Fillet, Tim Oblak, Erik Karkac, Jože Zajc, David Filipović, Gregor Krpić, Meta Petrić, Adriana Knopf, Agnieszka Volochko, and Micha Turšić, who were all coming together during the pandemic to work on this piece, and we still continue to develop it to this day. I would also really like to thank sincerely Kersnikova Institute with Kapelica Gallery that has been supporting these kind of artworks in development for the past 15 or almost 20 years. And the European Artificial Intelligence Lab, within which this project has been created, as well as the Smart Hybrid Forms, where I am continuing to develop this work as we speak in Amsterdam at the Vrije Universiteit Amsterdam with Raoul Freze and a lot of others. So thank you for all the people, the Vegetarian Posse that developed this work together. As well as all the funders and just in general support. I'm very happy that this kind of collective, collaborative artworks can come to fruition with the continued effort, development, and just enthusiasm of all these people from very disparate disciplines. And thank you so much for recognizing this during such a wonderful award. And I congratulate all the other finalists and winners. You really rock. Thank you so much.
はい、ありがとうございます。じゃあちょっと続いての作品を紹介したいと思います。
The next work.
で、次の作品は、Destabilized Common Grounds。名前が読めない。リエット・ベニヤミメイヤーさんです。おめでとうございます。
ごめんなさい。次の、congratulations.
Destabilized Common Grounds.
Okay, near it.
Yeah.
The work for this destabilized common ground. Congratulations.
Congratulations. And so この作品私とても大好きでして。
I really like this work.
でこのね作品がその苔がこうコロニーを形成していく様子っていうのを可視化するんですけれども。
This kind of visualize the way that the moss colony forms the colony and grows.
ただとてもユニークだなと思ったのが、その鑑賞者がそれをこうボードゲームのようにして、その苔が形成していく様子をこうボードゲームのようにして遊ぶというアイデアが面白いなと思いました。
And not just that it visualizes it, but it turns into a kind of game that people can play.
そのなんか今こうね日々差し迫る環境問題をこう私たちはいかに向き合うべきかという問いは多分世界中に溢れていると思うんですけど。
And we are sort of compelled to tackle the problem of environmental issues every day, and it's a very compelling threat.
そうなんかそれをこう問題として捉えるのではなく、こう遊びの中からこう気づきを人々に与えていくというそのユーモラスさを評価したいなと私は思いました。
But rather than facing it and directly sort of countering those threats, this project chose to sort of be more playful in a way of expressing and then convincing other people, and that was very impressive.
はい、あとその今回の民主主義の実験というテーマにおいても、こう苔っていう普段はこう誰もこう気に留めないような存在についても、彼らにも民主主義があるっていうことを考えさせてくれる作品だなと思っています。
Also, it has a lot to do with this year's theme, democratic experiments, where all those non-human beings, what would be the democracy that includes all of them?
That's also congratulations there.
Congratulations.
So, please share your comment.
Thank you so much, Arina, for these comments and insights. It's always really interesting to hear how people perceive the work and what comes out best. So I want to say congratulations to all winners for your fascinating and relevant projects. And of course, thank you, Fab Cafe, Team Lab, YouFab community, the judges, and the special partner Panasonic for the opportunity to participate in this award and for choosing this really interesting and relevant theme of democratic experiments. In my work in Destabilized Common Grounds, I designed a participatory installation game that explores how society and economy impact ecology. And it was really interesting for me to reveal how the interaction and the integration of the living organism, the moss plant, which is very responsive and respond in real time to participants' actions, how that promoted a sense of empathy and kinship within the participants and invited a more collaborative attitude to the game. And this is something I'm continuing to investigate and to research. I think we live in a very complex system of interdependencies, and these relationships between us and other beings really impact the ecosystems. So I see my role as a designer to create tools to perceive and reveal these complex systems and to interact with each other and with other non-human stakeholders, hoping to enable a more resilient future for all species. So I want to thank all the advisors and participants that helped me realize this project. And thank you all for listening and for the acknowledgements.
Hey, thank you so much, Neil. Okay, so I want to follow the next work. じゃあ次の作品は、ファブビオトープ、島影圭介さんです。
Next work is Fab Biotope by Mr. Shimakage.
はい、島影さん、おめでとうございます。
Congratulations, Shimakageさん。
この島影さんがこのね、ファブビオトープという、プロジェクトを作ったきっかけに、こんにちは。
よろしくお願いします。
はい。きっかけが、そのね、まずはこの、島影さんご自身のお父様が、こう、目は見れるけれども、こう、文字は読めないという、こう、失読症という症状になったことをきっかけに、こう、メガネをね、オトングラスというメガネを開発されたという経緯があると思うんですけど、太田さん、これも訳してもらった方が良いのかしら。
はい。this Fab Biotope, the whole project started inspired by actually Shimakage-san's father, who can see but cannot read this dyscrasia. And then he decided to develop a glass called Oton glass, which is like a father's glass.
なんかやっぱ、ここがやっぱり面白いのは、そういった島影さんご自身の個人的な経験を、やはりもっと多くの人に広げるべく、こう発展したプロジェクトだと思うんですよね、このファブビオトープは。
So the project started as a very personal thing, but he really wanted to expand that effort to sort of make more impact on more people.
今まで人間以外のことにちょっと私は着目しすぎてたんですけど、これは本当に人間のための民主主義として、なんかすごく評価すべきだなと思って、票を入れました。
Comments so far has centered around the non-human democracy, but for this particular piece, it is more of a human democracy, and that's why I voted for this piece.
ですね。あと最後に付け加えるなら、例えば島影さんのようなこういうなんていうんですかね、活動って、アクティビティって、こう、インクルーシブデザインと呼ばれたりとかしていて、こういうアイデアはすごく今広がり始めていると思うんですけれども、それをやはりこう実践している、もうちゃんとこう、実践のレベルに進んでいるっていうところをやはり評価したいなと思って、入れさせていただきました。
And also, the aspect that I valued was so his sort of his project can be categorized as a kind of activity called inclusive design, and then the idea of inclusive design has been a commonplace for some time now, but there aren't many implementation efforts, and because of this project has clear implementation, that's another reason I casted a vote for this one.
中根さん、おめでとうございます。一言お願いします。
はい、ありがとうございます。いや、本当に、この度は、僕日本語できます。本当さん、よろしくお願いします。
Thank you for the prize.
はい。で、そうですね、もう本当に、ちょっとこのデモクラティックエクスペリメンツっていうテーマが非常に僕の中ですごい個人的に刺さってしまって、今回こう、応募させていただいて、今回ここに参加させていただけて大変ありがたいです。
And this year's theme, democratic experiments, is one of the reasons that I applied to this award, and it resonated with me in great way.
で、そうですね。僕自身、今塚田さんおっしゃってくださったような形で、あんまりその脱人間中心主義とかノンヒューマンとかいうのを前提とした、活動というよりも結構超人間というか、すごいいろんな体の人の中に入っていって、で、その人たちの何かこう、ちっちゃい社会を作っていくみたいな活動になってまして、
So as Arina pointed out, my works are centering around the more of a human. I focus on more human aspects of the things, and I'm more interested in sort of, having people gather, people with different types of body and capability of the body, and then sort of collectively make small society of a kind to solve the issues.
そうですね、今回、このアワードに参加させてもらって、このデモクラティックエクスペリメンツっていうのをなんかこう、一緒に考えていけるなんか一個場というか、なんか僕自身もちょっと、なんですかね、世界中で行われているすごいローカルなそういう実践みたいなものを、その実践者の人から作品とかを通じてちょっと知れるとか、そこからこう考えられることがたくさんあって、ちょっとそういう機会としてちょっと勉強しに来ました。よろしくお願いします。
And also, this by applying to this award, I had a chance to get to know all the other local efforts, local implementation that I can learn a great amount, and being able to participate in this award sort of gave me a place to know those people, and then it's this kind of a small society or field that I learned a lot. And thank you, everyone involved.
はい、島影さん、ありがとうございました。では、私からは最後の作品を紹介します。
And the last work I'd like to introduce is
スチューデントプライズを取った、ライザという作品で、ノア・ステファント・クローセさんです。
And this is a student prize. ごめんなさい、名前何でしたっけ？
ライザ。
ライザさん。
ライザが作品名で、ノアさん。
So it's Liza by Noah さん。
はい。はい。はい、congratulations。で、彼女の作品が、こう、キノコの菌糸体、キノコと、こう、触れるという行為を通して、こう、一種のコミュニケーションを図ろうとする作品なんですよね。
So the piece is about communicating using fungus as a medium.
はい。で、例えば、環世界、ウムベルトっていう言葉がありますけど、こう私たち人間がこう、ね、キノコとかそういった人間以外の一種が見ている世界をこう理解しようとするときに、どうしてもこう人間ベースの思考とか知覚ではそこの、ね、一種の世界がやはり理解しにくいっていう問題があると思うんですよね。
There's a term called Umbelt, which involves non-human being as a system. The thinking is that we cannot just stand alone, but everything is interconnected. World consists of including non-human beings.
なんかそうしたときにこう言葉の理解、言語的な理解ではなく、こう触れるとかそういったこうフィジカルな体験を通してこうね、キノコたちが持っている世界を感じようとするっていう、そのなんかこう体験の試みに、私はとても共感しました。
And this piece involves human sort of tactile sense and experience, focusing on experience, rather than just discussing the terminology or the language, meaning that the piece sort of forces you to touch and feel the sense of Umbelt. Through fungus. And that was a very important approach to take.
ありがとうございます。最後に一つ付け加えるなら、ちょっと実際にこうぜひちょっとこう触って作品を体験してみたいなと思っています。
And the only thing is that I really wanted to touch it myself, but I couldn't. So someday.
I'm looking forward to experience it. So thank you so much. So please share your comment. So Noah.
Thank you very much. Yeah, hello, good morning all from Austria. Thank you so much, first of all, for all the inspiring and interesting projects I got to know actually through the YouFab Global Awards. And congratulations to all of you. I'm super honored and happy that Raisa has won this student prize. And I also would like to thank the committee and the YouFab community for this beautiful prize. And as told, Raisa emerged as a sort of aspiration to connect a human being with the otherness of other species. And it also as a sort of interspecies connector, and it invites you to become actually part of the communication between the mycelium and the pink oyster mushrooms by listening through them through your own body. And what I really tried is to create a space to think and feel and experience what it actually means to be part of this complex network we live in, and that we are also able to listen to other systems instead of taking them over. And I think we really start to live in coexistence and symbiosis with these natural landscapes, and rather than dominating or exploiting them, which happens a lot still. And I'm very happy to say that RISA is still in process. I'm still making steps with this work, and I could have not have done this work without the support of Laurent Miguenot, professor at the Interface Cultures study where I'm studying, and Taro Knop from Stadwerkstaat here in Linz. And yeah, thank you very much again.
Okay, thank you so much. 私の、多分ターンはこちらで終わりで、次にバトンを渡したいと思います。
Great. Thank you very much, Arina, for your comments towards all of the winners just now. I appreciate your insight into their works. Next, I would like to talk about Chief Judge Tatsuo Ogawa, who is coming from the Panasonic Corporation as an executive officer and CTO. Unfortunately, he could not be here to join us today. However, I would like to read aloud the comment that he has towards this year's theme, as well as the winners of this year's awards. Tatsuo Ogawa says, "What are the essential things for humans to survive? The answer, energy, water, and food. We are closely related to them and connected to various worlds, including invisible ones. Our company is also manufacturing in this area, and because it is essential, we have a great social responsibility to implement it. In other words, we are not simply and only striving for the ideal society and life for humans. We must also deliberate the question of how to establish relationships and coexist with stakeholders such as energy, the global environment, plants, animals, microorganisms, and non-living things, such as even minerals. The ideas and solutions presented by the 168 entries for the special prize represents the wisdom of mankind in answering this question. Exploring these entries was an experience that allowed us to confront the challenges and responsibilities of manufacturing, as well as possibilities and ideas. As the CTO of Panasonic, I was very fortunate to have this opportunity to receive various hints on how to deal with manufacturing. I would like to express my heartfelt gratitude to all the people who applied for the special prize and to everyone involved." Thank you very much, Tatsuo Ogawa, for your wonderful comment. Next, I would like to bring to the stage Ms. Chiaki Hayashi, who is the co-founder here at Lawfork Incorporated, to give her comments on several of the YouFab winners. Chiaki, are you here with us?
Yes.
Wonderful.
I'm Jackie, and it was the first time for me to participate YouFab as a judge for special prize. And I learned all the work, like 200 over the 250 artworks have changed the companies and enterprise to be more innovative. And like, how does it work for human or other living creatures? Or what kind of future we want? Like that kind of human-centered questions we had during the judging process. And I recognized the real value of YouFab is the innovation for creators, but not only creators, but also enterprise and the society. So congratulations for all winners, judges, participants, and audience. That is my comment. And then I give the 3 award artworks. One is see-through captions. And from here, I speak in Japanese. So please translate, 太田さん。
はい。
じゃあ、See-through captions は、
So see-through captions?
相手の表情を見ながらディスプレイ上の字幕を読むことができる、ろうとか難聴障害を持っている人にとっての画期的なコミュニケーションツールです。
So this is a communication tool that allows people to converse. I'm sorry. Designed to help hearing impaired people, where they can see they can see the information displayed. At the same time, they can hear their counterparts' emotion by reading your face.
実際に耳が聞こえてない人がこの開発メンバーにいるっていうことがこの作品が選ばれたもう一つの決め手となりました。
And one of the crucial reason I voted for this piece is that the member of the developer includes the actual hearing impaired person.
あと、日本科学未来館でも使われているそのフィジビリティの高さがすごく印象的でした。
And also it is being implemented actually in use at the 科学未来館。すみません、科学未来館って未来って言わないんですよね。
いいんじゃない？
Okay, so 科学未来館、so it is actually being used in a museum in Japan, and that's a great way. That's another reason I picked this piece.
私にも耳が聞こえない友人がいるんですけど、
I too have a friend who has difficulty hearing.
話をしていると彼女は私の顔を見たい。でも通訳を見ないと言葉がわからない。
So what I found out
戸惑
was
いがわかる。
that actually I sort of sensed confusion when talking with her through the interpreter, because she has to pay attention to interpreter, but at the same time she wants to read my face, and that's a conflict.
だからSee-through captionsがあったら随分違うんだろうなと思いました。
So I personally felt very useful this device would be. だ
から目と目で通じ合うそういうコミュニケーションの基本を思い出させてくれました。
In other words, it's a seeing eye to eye, and also being implemented as a device. It was a great work. Thank you.
どうぞコメント。
So I'll try to speak in English. So I'm Ike Suzuki from University of Tsukuba. I'm a project member of See-through captions. So thank you so much for selecting our work as special prize finalist. So thank you very much for introduction of our work. See-through captions is a project to enhance communication with deaf or hard of hearing people using automatic speech recognition. By showing speech-recognized text on a transparent display, we can talk while looking at each other's facial expression or some body languages as well as the text. So also, as introduced, we have conduct trial installation at some places such as the Miraikan Museum in Odaiba, Japan, or Tsukuba City Hall, and so on. So we believe it is very important to get feedback from many people with actual use. So we feel that our project has been recognized once again with this award, and we hope that this award will give us the opportunity to reach out our project to more and more people. We will continue to work on this project. Thank you so much again. ありがとうございました。
おめでとうございます。
Congratulations.
では次の作品に移ろうと思います。
Another work I would like to introduce is
次の作品はメジャーインブルーム花はめぐるです。
called Measuring Bloom 花はめぐる。
これは
Flower go around and around.
植物の開花をメタファーにした、不定時、つまり、決まった時間ではなくて、不確定の時間で、時計がこうパタッパタって、パタパタ時計になる不思議な時計です。
So this is uses flower blooming as a metaphor to indicate the time, but the time display do not change in regular interval. It is irregular. Irregularly changes its face to tell a time.
私がその審査の時に見させてもらったのは3つの花を使っていて、朝顔、ハス、松酔い草という朝、昼、晩に花が咲く花時計でした。
And an iteration that I actually saw when judging this work, that's particular implementation uses three kind of flowers to tell the morning, afternoon, and night.
で、それを見て思ったのは、私たちが知りたいのは時間じゃないんじゃないか。
And then through my experience with this device or work, I sort of felt that maybe we do not really want to see the exact seconds and minutes when we sort of look up at the clock.
むしろ時に応じたさりげないメッセージなのかもしれないなと。
Maybe we are sort of, expecting, maybe what we want to know is the kind of the nuance that time tells to you.
朝顔が頑張っていこうねって言ってくれる。
Like 朝顔、ごめんなさいね、朝顔。
Flowers
like
that blooms in the morning.
Yeah. So by getting a help from a flower that sort of tells a nuance of a morning, and that's something we actually wanted to know in the first place.
昼は一休みとか、夜は深くくつろいで思考しようね。そんなメッセージを感じました。
So in the morning, the kind of flower that tells sort of talks to you like let's make this great day. And at noon, the flower may tell you that it's about time to take a break. And then in the evening, the flower might tell you that maybe it's time to get relaxed and stuff like that.
なので、正確な時間ではなく、むしろ励まされる、あるいは美しい時間に気持ちにさせてくれる、そういう作品だと思いました。以上です。
So instead of telling you exact time of the day, this work tells you different feeling that is appropriate to morning, noon, and night, all those timings. And that's how I felt from this work.
コメントお願いします。
はい。
Please comment.
I'm very grateful for such a wonderful opportunity. 日本語でいきますと、私たちの作品は植物の開花を題材とした作品です。
Our work is based on inspired by the blooming of flowers.
普段生活していると見落としてしまうような小さなわずかな変化に注目したものです。
And in that, we sort of focused on experiencing the very, how do you say, delicate nuance that otherwise we overlook.
植物や動物、人間を含む 生き物はそれぞれの時間を生きています。
And we all know that the plants or vegetable or the animal and human being, they each have different feeling of passing of time.
時間の過ごし方は違うと思うんですけど、みんな同じ地球で生きていて、で、私たちは人の時間で、現代の人の時間を生きています。
So the time itself is constant, but all those different species of creatures have their own pace. But we all share the same planet, and the human, in particular, the way we pass time is different from other species.
そういう植物のや他の生き方の時間を人の生活の中に自然に溶け込む作品になれたらなと思って作りました。
So our attempt is to sort of introduce or sort of introduce the time passing of other species into the day-to-day life of human being. That was the idea.
ありがとうございました。
And thank you for selecting us.
はい、おめでとうございます。
Congratulations.
それでは最後、最後の作品は Growing Colors, Patterning with Living Pigments です。
So last but not least is Growing Colors, Patterning with Living Pigments.
この作品は細菌というと怖い響きがあるけど、悪い作用をする細菌は実はものすごく少数なんですね。
This work focuses on germs, bacteria, and then commonly, we have an impression against bacteria as something scary, but actually the scary or ill-causing bacteria is just a few percentage of all species.
なので、だったらバクテリアを人間に見えるようにしようっていうのがこの作品の面白いところだなと思いました。
So what interested me the most about this work is that it attempts to visualize all those existing bacteria to sort of lessen that fear, which is not based on the fact.
なので未来の、顔料あるいは色を染めるっていうものはバクテリアに変わっていくのかな、そして自然と調和する、そんな示唆を与えてくれる作品です。
And then through this work, I sort of envision the future where all the pigments or the coloring materials we use has more organic, and then sort of make peace with the nature. And I was happy to have that kind of opportunistic view from this work.
Please comment.
Hello to everyone. Thank you so much for having me as a representative of my team of Growing Colors. As we heard before, water is a very major element that we need for living, and we seem to not be aware that there is not a huge amount of water that we could use for drinking, for instance, and whatever, there's only like 2.6% of water on Earth that we can use for drinking, and a big part of it is still in ice, and there's really only a very little amount of water that we can use for that. And but it seems that we are not aware of it, and have not a very conscious way of using the water when it comes especially to dyeing textiles, for instance, and textile industries and other industries as a whole. And I feel that we really have to come to a connection again with our surrounding and to nature. And what we can learn from nature is really that they can produce colors without harming other species or other the surrounding. And what we tried in our project is really to reveal also all these invisible aspects surrounding us and all these bacteria that are present, but we don't notice all the time. And when we give them the right circumstances, they can produce these colors, these beautiful colors that you can use for dyeing the textiles. And not like many people think that bacteria are harmful or there's a lot of pathogenic bacteria. There's also a lot of bacteria that really help our bodies. And we consist of a huge amount of bacteria. And we try to show that actually with bacteria, you can do the opposite process. You don't, you can use them for dyeing the textiles in a very caring way, and also caring way for the body, because it doesn't need a lot of, it doesn't need the harmful chemicals to be used. And it can have very positive effects also on the skin. And I'm really, really very grateful also for having this opportunity to be here today with you, and also to see that there's so many companies and individuals how to say, working in this field and thinking of solutions for the environment and our surroundings. And what was very, very beautiful also to see is having this huge team of interdisciplinary artists and scientists coming together in our team, working on growing colors. And you could see that working together with this bacteria was also somehow transisted to this huge team of people coming from very different disciplines, which helped the project really to grow further and further. And I think actually this is the future, that we really need to focus on connecting and working together to create a future that is more healthy. Thank you very much, and congratulations to everyone.
Thank you. じゃあ以上です。ありがとうございました。
Thank you, everyone.
Thank you very much, Chiaki Hayashi. We appreciate your comments to all of the finalists and winners whom you have announced. Next, I would like to bring up Judge Ariane Koch, who unfortunately could not join us today. However, she does have a very important comment towards the special prize winner, Emma Harriet, who has brought to us the work entitled Homegrown. The comment from Aniana reads, "Homegrown is a truly game-changing project with extraordinary integrity at every level, from conception and design all the way through to purpose, function, and delivery. It marries design, ecology, and technology with the human being on both the local and global level, with care as its central process, value, and goal. Thus, it is a truly deserving winner of the Panasonic Special Prize, dedicated to recognizing work that hopes to improve the society and our lives under the theme Democratic Experiments. The project is truly democratic in recognizing the value not only of human beings and their skills in a locality, but by honoring the value which choice of materials, the environment, and the maker have in ensuring the continuation of the beauty and limited resources of our planet. This creates a true production cycle of sustainability, because everything is valued in this chain of production as well as use, which puts care and mindfulness as its center, rather than being focused on the extraction of materials, economic profit, and the lure of the new. It aims to inspire the way in which we design, interact with, and consume technology by working with locally sourced biomaterials and crafts in the places where the energy is consumed and needed and used. By creating energy products which are made locally and using local natural energy sources, crafting them with local materials and designers in the locality and country in which they are used, planet miles are cut down. Thus, Homegrown is a truly democratic experiment between the sentient, insentient material and the planet, showing how every piece of matter belongs and needs attention and is connected. After all, particle physics shows us all matter on this planet is interconnected and deserving of care and attention as to how it is used and reacted to, with everything connected and interacting in a chain of belonging. Rather than being technologically driven, homegrown is locally driven and is set to revolutionize the way our products are made on a global scale, whilst taking into account the resources in terms of environment, people, and materials in the local scale. Emma, thank you so much for joining us today. I would love to hear your comment in reply to Ariane and to this year's theme and receiving of the special prize.
Thank you so much, and thank you so much to Ariane for that really lovely introduction. I just want to say thank you to the judges and to the YouFab community and cafe for awarding Homegrown this year's special prize. And also a really massive thank you from the wider Homegrown team, which has grown over the last few months. So yes, thank you from all of them today. So yes, essentially Homegrown is essentially trying to inspire a generational shift in the way, sort of the global disaster that is electronic waste. And the UN quoted in 2019 that at the moment this is 53 million tons globally, which is a very crazy number when we really think about that in sort of perspective. So Homegrown is inspiring a movement in regards to local materials, especially conductive bio-based materials, and how these local sourcing and manufacturing of communities can inspire the way we create and actually care for electronics. So how can we move the way we integrate with electronics and consume and prolong their life through implementations of different types of care and active forms of care. So yes, thank you again, and I hope we can inspire others in the future with Homegrown. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Emma, for your very thoughtful reply. Last but certainly not least, I would like to now invite Asa Ito to announce our final YouFab finalists before going into the grand prizes. Asa, are you here with us now? Thank you.
Yes, thank you. So I'd like to introduce a work entitled Syntropia as a final finalist, made by Eugenia Malpurgo and Sofia Guggenberger. So I'd like to leave some comments on this work. Congratulations, Eugenia and Sofia, for your wonderful achievement. I'm very fascinated by your work. First of all, I really loved the video you sent to YouFab office. It explains how your project goes, but it also enables us to understand, or rather experience, the environment in which you are working. Through the video, I can feel the smooth wind that sway the fabric, and I can also smell the sweet scent of fresh grasses, and also I can hear the chatting of birds. So all of these seem to symbolize your attitude toward the earth. The democratic experiment that you are trying to do with this project is for me to establish the ecosystem that enables us to dialogue or to collaborate with living nature through the process of shoemaking. The most inspiring point with this project is that the design of shoe varies as the alternations of season. This idea reminds us shoes or any other fashion items are also kind of agricultural products like carrot or potatoes, and the connection with the living nature. This point is all the more important because fashion industry is now facing the serious problem of its destroying impact on environment. Thank you.
Great. Thank you very much, Asa Ito, for your comment. Unfortunately, Eugenia and Sofia from Syntropia could not join us today, but this can kind of give us an impression of what their work's like. And for those of you who are interested, I also agree with Asa Ito, who mentions the kind of atmosphere which the video builds. For those who are interested, I highly recommend that you check out the YouFab website and the video listed there for their entry. I would now like to go to part 2 of today's events. starting with a presentation from, here we are, Chief Judge Asa Ito. So if you would like to continue with your presentation, I will take down the screen share and let you continue from here.
Okay, so from now on, this is the second part of this ceremony. Okay, so I'm happy to announce the grand prize of YouFab Global Creative Award 2021 goes to the Museum of Edible Earth by Marshall Studio and A Public Voice by Dora Bartilotti. So please welcome them with a round of virtual applause. First of all, I may have to say something about this result, that this year's grand prize was awarded to 2 works. Well, when we sit at the table of judging, we were sure to choose just 1 work for the grand prize. However, as the discussion went on, we realized that theme of democratic experiments required 2 works for grand prize. In other words, 335 submitted works told us that we need to cover 2 different types of, or 2 different levels of democracy to think about this theme in the context of publication culture. One is a democracy in a human society, and the other is a democracy including non-humans. Dora Bartiotti's Public Voice is a work by women and sexual minorities who have been oppressed in the Latin American society. They walk around towns dressed up in brightly colored turkey clothes that they have created with their own electric devices. So Public Voice deals with human level of democracy. What impressed me the most about Public Voice was its way of carrying someone's pain. Pain, by nature, is something that cannot be separated from the body that feels it. However, in this work, with the power of technology, the pain was detached from the specific body and has become something that can be worn by another person in the form of clothing. The wonderful thing is that, as a result, it is possible to have demonstrations by individuals possessed by others, rather than demonstrations by a group of the individuals. Generally speaking, group demonstrations tend to lose the diversity of stories that each individual carries in order to put forth simple slogans. The talking crowds, however, are designed to create a strong visual impact while at the same time conveying the personal story directly to society. It was also impressive that people who witnessed the demonstration came personally and physically close to listen to their voices. I think individuals with personal stories must be a key to think of democratic experiments. And I was also impressed by the Public Voice's system of creating spontaneous activities. The people participating in this project seem to be having a lot of fun. I think that the system, which are open to generative power, is also important for democratic experiment. On the other hand, next prize winner, Marshall Studios, the Museum of Edible Earth, deals with a non-human level of democracy. Through the direct and a little bit shocking experience of taking the earth into one's body, this mobile museum, which reaches and archives the earth-eating culture of various parts of the world, extends our imagination beyond the human scale, both in terms of time and space. the earth must have been the food for the first life on earth. So eating soil may be a way to experience the diet of primitive life. Furthermore, the act of eating reverses our inside and outside, which means what used to be the external environment, in this case soil, becomes our internal self. And after all, perhaps the environment may not be something external, but something that is within us. The perspective of redefining the environment and the thrill that comes with it are the major wonders of this work. This boundary between inside and outside of us must be critical for a democracy of the future. Human activity has a destructive impact to the environment, and the destruction of environment affects human life. We have to care about silent stakeholders such as plants, animals, bacteria, and of course soil. This must be an indispensable point to think about future democracy. In order to improve the relationship between humans, we must improve the relationship between humans and non-humans. Through this year's YouFab Awards, I wanted to question what can be the possibility of the act of making in the contemporary society. We know that the impact of mass production and mass consumption on the environment is serious, and the problem of exploitative labor in the manufacturing industry is also devastating. The act of making seems to be facing headwinds now. So after screening works from various countries and regions, I realized that the possibility of making lies in redefining various borderlines. Making can redefine the borderline between you and me, inside and outside, human and non-human. In other words, the act of making reminds us of interdependence or inseparability of you and me, inside and outside, human and non-human. Last but not least, I'd like to express my gratitude to my fellow judges who worked with me through the screening process, to the staff who gathers and most of all, to everyone who applied for the prize. Thank you very, very much.
Thank you very much, Asa Ito, for your fantastic comment. I really enjoyed hearing all of your fantastic insight. For now, I would like to move to the two artist talks. First, introducing creator of Public Voice, Ms. Dora Bartolotti. Dora, would you like to please join us on the Zoom stage for your presentation?
Yeah. Can you hear me there?
Yes, I can hear you.
Hi from Mexico. First of all, thank you very much for this opportunity. I feel very, very grateful to be here in the distance, sharing space with great creators. Also, want to take the opportunity to thank to Leonardo Aranda, which is the collaborator of this project. Also to thank the space of Media Lab MX, of which I am part, and also to thank to the participants of the Textile Rebellion for always being there, for supporting me and believing in this process of collective creative resistance. Right now, I'm very happy because this project is still very active. Just last week, we have the 7th generation of the Textile Rebellion, and we activated our voice and bodies inside of a cultural institution. So we interrupted there. And I want to especially thank to YouFab team for interesting on the problem addressed by the project Public Voice, Voz Pública. thinking that it's a tactical mediation and participatory art piece that seeks to amplify the protests against gender violence in the urban context of Latin America, in which I don't know if you know, but there are different forms of machismo, sexism, that still prevail and result in a violent context for women. And you need to know that just in Mexico, 10 women are murdered every day. So thank you for giving the support to Voz Publica to continue being a voicing and amplifying mechanism, and to continue from a commitment to creative activism, the denunciation and demand to recover our right to the city. And I wanted to make a contribution to this year's democratic experiments themes. I was thinking that public voice, Voz Publica, showed me the power of catalyzed spaces for listening, agency creation, as well as the occupation of spaces to be together and make ourselves visible from our own voices and narratives outside of the institutional abstraction and with our own creative tactics and resistant tools. A space whose approach tries to open a broader notion about what we understand by technology, placing conviviality first instead of efficiency. Spaces for recognizing our body as our first territory of struggle, but also as our first technology of resistance. To wave and invent the technology of being together, from where to confabulate, smile, dream, and wave political friendship. Thanks.
Thank you so much, Dora, for your comment just now. I didn't know about the fact that you mentioned of 10 Mexican women being murdered every day. That's a very interesting point to me, and I was very touched by hearing your reaction to that through this project. Thank you very much. Next, I would like to bring to the Zoom stage Masharu from Masharu Studio of the grand prize winning work, The Museum of Edible Earth. Thank you so much for joining us.
Hello, thank you so much. Can you hear me?
Yes, I can hear you very well.
Okay, amazing. Yes, so I'm very grateful to be here and honored to receive a grand prize in this wonderful competition. And I'm really inspired by the works that I just saw. And I'm also really honored to share this grand prize with the work of Dora. I think it's really meaningful and important work. I can share a little bit about the Museum of Edible Earth, and thank you so much, Asa Ito, for your comments on this project. Very deep comments, and they triggered also a lot of thoughts in me. So regarding myself, I'm earth eater, so I like to eat different types of earth. It's not only my professional practice, which of course it is as well, because I travel with the Edible Earth Museum and I work with more people, Masharu Studio, to develop it. But at the same time, I also eat different types of earth, not only on public presentations or exhibitions, but also when I'm at home alone. So it is really my personal practice. And talking about eating earth, I mostly mean chalk or clay or limestone. So I rarely eat topsoil. Mostly this is earth with little organic material in it. And I started as a kid. I even don't remember it. My grandmother tells that she couldn't stop me from eating earth. So apparently it was a kind of instinct. And then, of course, I stopped, realizing that this was not socially accepted behavior. But when I was in my 20s, I decided to still look into this topic because I really had strong desires to eat chalk. And I found online communities of people who would eat different types of mostly clay and chalk, and I was really fascinated by it. I also found that this is an ancient tradition which is present across different countries in the world. I don't have earth from Japan in the Museum of Edible Earth, but so far there are samples from 36 countries, and mostly the basis of the collection is the fact that earth is being eaten by humans. So it's not just earth collected from the field, but wherever I find it may be attractive for myself, but I meet different Earth eaters, I guess, across the globe, or sometimes people send samples to me, or I exchange samples with people from different places. And it has been a very special journey for me, which I would say indeed created a particular relationship between me and Earth, which I would compare to a romantic relationship, which is sometimes not easy and sometimes it's very inspiring. And I feel like Earth has been taking me on a journey in the last years. And this resulted also in a number of collaborations, including collaborations within social justice movements, environmental struggles, as well as working with the sculpture of Mother Earth last year in Amsterdam, which is a monument of a racist murder, which took place in Amsterdam. So I worked with a Black storyteller, Elvira Semo, and we brought different samples of Museum of Edible Earth to the sculpture to empower it and to give dignity to it and to create a program around it with different artists and spiritual practitioners. So I have some samples on my table of Earth, and I can briefly share about them. This is Earth from the Netherlands. This is where Museum of Edible Earth is based. And it comes from the church of St. Gerlach. According to the legend, in 13th century, people used to eat earth from the grave of St. Gerlach because miracles were happening on the grave. But right now, the grave is in the church, so it's covered by rock. And the church is putting this earth into the grave themselves, so it's possible to pick up it for donation, but it's not really connected to the body anymore. So I will eat a little piece. This is very crispy, and it's very fine limestone. I wish I could have shared it with you, well, probably during the exhibition. It is also very neutral and very pleasant taste. And I have earth here from Kyrgyzstan. This is more like a very hard clay. And this is sold on the market as edible product. It's interesting that in some cultures or in some countries still today, this tradition is very present. So clay would be sold on the market as edible product. And at the same time, in the Western world, it is regarded as psychological disorder. It is mentioned in Diagnosis of Mental Disorders book published by a Psychiatrist Association of United States as a mental disorder. So it was very interesting for me to explore as well how old tradition and cultural practice, which is still practiced in a number of countries in other culture, can become a mental disorder, which of course goes for more things than just eating earth. So I will eat a piece. This one is very hard. It's really drying my mouth. It's a little bit having the taste of seeds. All earth has different tastes. They're like humans. Different types of earth, they're similar, but they're always unique to my experience. And the last piece of earth I want to share here now with you is this white earth. And this is coming from Ukraine. This earth is from the region of Sumy, and it was a lot on the news last days with bombing and battles. As a person of Russian descent, living in the Netherlands, I want to say I find it very sad and deeply tragic what is happening in Ukraine. And I find it deeply sad and tragic what is happening in Russia right now. And this white earth in African Surinamese culture symbolizes peace. And just by holding this piece now, I want to say I really wish for peace. Thank you for your attention.
Thank you very much, Masha, for your very touching presentation. It was quite an experience to see you come to sample these different types of earths here in this space. And thank you very much for your final comment as well. We are also behind you in this feeling. Thank you. So next, I would like to shift towards the next portion of our award ceremony, which is going to be a short opportunity to have intimate discussion between Asa Ito as well as the two grand prize winners. The moderator for this session is going to be Arina Tsukada. Around 5 minutes into this open question section, we will shift naturally into the open discussion with Q&A with all winners and judges. All winners and judges are warmly welcome to insert their comments and questions into the Zoom chat, which I myself or Arina will be bringing into the open discussion. Thank you very much.
ではちょっと日本語でもまた失礼いたします。Please help me to translate Otaさん、please. はい。いや、でも、いや、もうめちゃくちゃ面白いなと思って、土食べたいなと思いながら私見てたんですけど。
It's been so interesting. I really wish I was there to join in eating soil earth.
ただやっぱり今お二人に改めて聞いてみたいなと思ったのは、今回のこのデモクラティックエクスペリメントというテーマをこの YouFab の告知で見たときに、これはもうまさに自分のプロジェクトだと思ったのかどうなのか、ちょっとまずそのテーマに対してどう感じたのかということを聞いてみたいなと思いました。
受賞者のお二人ですね。
あ、そうです。はい。
はい。For the winners, my first question would be how you felt about this year's theme, a democratic experiment. Did you resonate immediately as this is my thing? I have to do this.
So Dora, do you want to go ahead or do you want me to start?
Please start.
All right. So I think for me, actually, I was a little bit surprised to win a great prize with this theme. Actually, as I said, I'm very honored with this, and I often had, I guess, doubts about my work, as I felt like it has maybe not enough political engagement, or not as much as I would like to have. And right now, this prize is also affirmation for me, and also looking in my work through this angle, as Asa Ito just brought, it is very refreshing. So thank you very much. And again, yes.
Thank you so much. Please, Dora.
I think I resonate a lot with Masharu, but also I was thinking that when I have the opportunity to read the call, I was surprised because I think there is not so much calls that have the objective to be about creative activism. I think that there is no so many spaces as me we think. So I was like, oh my God, this is great. And of course, I think a lot of the works and processes that I have has to do with the theme of these years, but also like Masharu says, I don't always feel so politics, even if I try every day and with all my processes and overthinking all the things, because, well, global patriarchal world. So there's these things of feeling like maybe you don't deserve these kind of things and you have to make your own places. So I think it's important that you open these places and support woman, non-binary and not heteronormative peoples.
Thank you so much. なんかこう今のお二人の話を聞いて、まず朝さんいかがですか？ちょっとだけ言うと、ね、こうデモクラシーって言葉をどう受け取ってもらうかってところは、なんか最初に私と朝さんと千秋さんでもディスカッションしていたところで、なんかそこがうまく伝わり、なおかつこのデモクラシーっていう言葉の意味が広がる展開になったのかなというふうに思っていますが、太田さんすいません、お願いします。
Arina is asking. I made a comment about the Asa came up with democratic experiments, and then initial discussion between Asa and Chiaki and Arina was centered around how we convey that concept to the potential applicants. And then it turned out very well. And then the message that Asa wanted to convey has been received well.
じゃあ、朝さんお願いします。
すいません、日本語で失礼します。お二人のコメントを聞いてとても安心しました。
And in that sense, Asa was really relieved to hear the comments Dora and Masharu just made now.
どうしてかというと、民主主義っていう言葉で、私は必ずしもその狭い意味での政治的なニュアンスっていうのを込めたくなかった。そこから解放したかったからです。
And what I intended when I decided to use the term democracy, it wasn't necessarily in a narrow sense, but I wanted to sort of relieve the word itself from the democracy, from its confinement, and then make it open for interpretation.
例えば選挙に行くっていうことも一つ、政治的な活動だと思うんですけれども、もしかしたら街に新しくカフェを作るっていうことの方が、実は政治的で民主主義を作っていく上で大事な活動かもしれないっていうふうに私は思っています。
So personally, I believe that, of course, voting, the action of voting is directly a political action. But at the same time, creating a cafe that people can gather could be as much political or action, and then could contribute to forming democracy.
で、多くの応募作品がそうであったように、やっぱり物を作るってなると、様々な人と交渉をしなければいけなくなる。で、その過程で考え方が違う人とか、そもそも言葉が通じない、それは人間であってもそうかもしれないし、非人間だともっとそうだと思うんですけど、コミュニケーションができない人たちと交渉しなきゃいけない、そういうフェーズっていうのが作るときには必ず出てくると思うんですね。
And, through screening all these applications, I realized that act of making is essentially interaction between different parties, interacting and negotiating, going over the divide. And then there are like a division, like a language barrier, or even you have to negotiate or partner with some non-human being. So in general, act of making always involves with making effort to communicate or connect different parties.
で、お二人の作品はやっぱりその新しいコミュニケーションの言語っていうのを作り出していて、で、それはとても新鮮で、そういう意味でその言葉を作ってくれたお二人に心から感謝をしています。
So looking at your work, Dora and Masharu, your work, my impression is that you created a new language for communication, and that is very refreshing, and I'm very appreciative of that.
はい、Thank you, Asa さん。ちょっと私からは2つ目の質問なんですけど、なんかすごい、お願いします。
The next question from Marina.
なんかこの今、Asa さんが2人が開発してきたのは新しいコミュニケーションの言語とおっしゃってたんですけど、
So as Asa pointed out, the work of you two is practically setting up a new communication language.
その意味で言うと、この2人の作品っていうのは、参加者がいて初めて成立するものだと思うんですよね。
And I would also add to that notion that your work also involves someone to participate to the action, to action that's needed for your work, your pieces work.
そうね、だからその意味で、質問としては、この2人のプロジェクトに参加した参加者が、このプロジェクトを通してどういう変化があったのか、そこからどういう気づきがあったのかっていうところをお聞きしたいなと思いました。
So in that regard, my next question would be to ask you to share what transformation the participants of your each project has gone through. Did you sort of realize how your work transformed people? Dora or Cheryl?
Dora, do you want to start or you want me to start?
I think I can start. I don't know for sure if I can honestly answer that question because I am not in the foot of the participants, but I can say that for the things that have sharing with me, that for some of them, the textile rebellion as a space for conviviality and exchange of knowledge and talking about feminism and critical action and that kind of things was the first time in the life that they made these kind of things and have this kind of reflection. So I think that supporting a space that anyone can participate could open a lot of first questions and make some seeds for they to start to open a broader view of what they understand about gender, about public space, about participation, and also, and first of all, of the power that they have to transform this reality. I think also that from my first view, well, a lot of the participants of the Textile Rebellion right now are my best friends. So that's kind of a thing that I think it's important to put on the table because we are still collaborating in other kinds of projects. And yeah, I think that's one of the most important things, and because I think that it's a political friendship, and that kind of things you cannot always have in all the places. And from the other side of when we go to the performative action in public spaces, to amplify all these stories of violence through our bodies. I think a lot of people feel impressed. Some of them just cry because it's hard to listen to all these voices. It's hard also to see how these bodies come and make you to listen to all these things that maybe sometimes you don't want to listen or you just invisibilize. So to put a body, to put a voice, to put a corporality, to embrace and give skin to all these things, I think it's very, very powerful. And yeah, you cannot do actions all the time because also cross your body and it's too much also.
Okay, thank you so much, Dora. Please so much share your insights.
Yes, thank you so much for this question. I think here I would even like to start with my personal transformation journey because when I started this project for about, I guess, 10 years ago, this interest started as artistic work. Well, it was not called Museum of Edible Earth then, but I started working with topic of geophagy. This is scientific name of eating earth. And back then it was really like right now I said, I think my work is not as political as I would like it to be, but back then it was absolutely apolitical because my interest was just to do something that I like to do together with other people. So basically it's like, you know, drinking wine is more fun to do together than alone. The same as taking drugs, I guess. So because I really like to eat earth, and it is also a very marginalized topic. So people often do it secretly. It's not something people do in public. So I wanted to create space where I can just do something that I like together with others and make it, I guess, some kind of opening up of a taboo also, a space. And in this space, I received visitors, which brought in a lot of input together with them. Because then I met people who shared about cultural traditions in their backgrounds connected to eating earth, and they wanted to take me along on their journeys, and that's how I also started traveling to different places. And through this act, I understood that actually this topic of eating earth even is connected to gender as well, because earth itself is seen in almost all cultures as a mother or as a woman. But at the same time, eating earth is often a practice which is assigned to, let's say, female assigned people in many places I went to, and often for male assigned people, it is a shame to eat earth in places I went. So it, at the end, I understood that it was touching upon a lot of topics which I already was interested in my life personally, but I was not seeing the link myself. So in this way, as I told you in the beginning, I feel like earth took me on this journey. I didn't know where I was going with it. And I'm still feeling like I am in this transformation process. It is ongoing. And also I want to mention that for participants, so people who visit the exhibitions, it's very interesting what I observed, that most of the times people are willing to try, which I didn't expect from the beginning. So often even I got journalists coming who would say, okay, when we went to this exhibition, we never expected that we would really do it. But I feel like especially, all right, I live in the Netherlands, so of course it is a very particular place in the world. People, I feel like many people are maybe not so connected to earth. And this act of eating earth or even touching it, it creates this type of a dialogue or connection. And I do see some transformation happening there, honestly speaking. So here I give a compliment to myself for the project, but I do feel that some magic is happening. And this also gives energy and power to me to carry on with this work, which is not easy sometimes, because also carrying earth itself is not easy, it's very heavy. So, but I mean, there are more aspects to it, and this I find very valuable that I discovered it. It is about food systems, it is about who decides what we eat and what is food and what is non-food. It is about environment. It is about, I understood that it touches upon a lot of concepts of ecofeminism, which I'm also very interested in personal level, and the term of dirt, for example, that in American English earth is called dirt. It is very negative connotation to actually something that is nurturing us as humans. And also then it is connected to sexuality as well, and to body, and all these aspects that are constantly evolving. And this is happening for me also thanks to the people who are constantly coming and visiting and tasting earth, and also bringing earth and exchanging earth. I hope it answers the question. A long answer.
Yeah, thank you so much. Yeah, it's a very interesting. So I found that's the common point of you too. So as the gender or also feminism. Oh, I want to ask and talk more and more, but the time is limited. So I will pass to the baton to Kels, please.
I think it might be possible that Mashadu is beginning to answer the comment/question already, but I believe that Nidit Ben Mir from Destabilized Common Grounds has a question for both Mashadu and Dora. Nidhi, would you like to come on and ask your question to them directly? Other winners and finalists are also welcome to turn on their cameras, judges as well. We're now in the kind of open discussion session, so, but I pass on to Nidhi. Nidhi, would you like to make your question?
Yes, thank you. Thank you for allowing me to ask, and thank you both. I think your projects are really so intriguing and opens so many new questions. And you did start to answer. My question was about how the audiences and the participants in your work influence your own thinking. So you kind of started to elaborate on that. And so maybe the next following question would be if that made you think a bit differently about your role as artists, and do you have a future project or a future research that you want to dive in after doing this participatory experiences and collaborations?
Maybe we can start with Dora.
Well, thanks for the question. Well, I think that this project transformed myself a lot in all kinds of meanings, and all the participants also give a lot to the project and to myself. And actually from Voz Pública, I then started other project that is Costurero Electrónico. I'm not so sure what is the translation of Costurero Electrónico, but like a group of electronics sewing, yeah, something like that. But it's more like the how to give continuity to these large processes of La Rebelión Textil, because La Rebelión Textil are workshop like 3, 4, maybe 5 weeks together. No, I mean, every time together, and that's important. So in Costurero Electrónico is not about making electronic textiles that amplify violent stories, that it's the objective of one of the objectives of the projects. But in Costurero Electrónico, the participants make her own tactics. So it's a process about talking about what it's a techno-feminist tactics in public space, how we appropriate, how we think about textiles in all the kinds of forms, and maybe in even textile like a technology that can keep us together in the distance. And Costurero also arises in the middle of the pandemic, so it was very important for us to support us to making something together in the crisis and chaotic thing that was the pandemic. And then I started a project about disappearance woman, that it's another of the biggest problem in Mexico, the missing people. And I go through the materialities of electronic and textiles again, in which and exploring other kinds of methodologies of participation and being a little more intensive with the poetics and gestures of that. But it's been like you start to make more and more complicated projects, or at least in my case, because yeah, I am interested in tactical media. So for me, it's important to always like being interwoven. A lot of things happen at the same time. I don't know if you know, but Voz Pública is made of 3 parts: participatory platform, electronic textile, and the laboratories of the textile rebellion. No, and that 3 parts is just one project. No. So yeah, a lot of overthinking.
Thank you. It's fascinating to hear about that and the connection to feminism in both projects. I think I also know that there is now a writer called Yvonne Volkart. She suggested the term techno-ecofeminism. So she was relating to works that actually look at both those perspectives and philosophies and kind of make this kind of holistic approach to these two attitudes.
Yeah.
Wonderful. Thank you so much, Nidhi, for your question and comment. I see also that Silke has joined us on the screen. And just as Nidhi had mentioned, you know, it's interesting that so many projects chosen for YouFab this year was dealing with feminism in different layers and different aspects. I was wondering if Silke might have any comment or question towards the winners today, but also towards the YouFab team or judges in democracy or experiments in democracy.
Thank you, Kelsey, putting me on the spot here.
Sorry, I saw you and I was like, oh, nice, she's here.
Well, no, I don't have a question really. I just, maybe a comment that I really admire, and that these type of projects that are also very weighted with the responsibility and with the feeling that you carry, as you also previously explained, at least as I understood, to hold the emotions, to carry, you know, the subject matter there can be heavy, and it makes me actually really hopeful to see projects like this and to see people kind of signing up for this and giving their life to these types of situations and causes. And I love this community that I feel is a greater community worldwide. And it's I feel when I do my own work, which you know, and I come sometimes into a moment where I feel overwhelmed, this lifts me up knowing that there are so many other people, just that we're all there together. And maybe to Marusha, I completely relate. When I was a little child, I also ate chalk, and I really loved to lick fresh walls. And I love that you explained that. You probably have a big community of people who told you this already, but I felt very alone in just loving this, also the smell of wet earth. And in Germany, fortunately, we have a tradition of eating earth, and we have, you know, and I eat these capsules, and, you know, they're cleansing the body, and I really enjoy that, and I feel it's very good for my body. So I really was happy to see your work, you know, so exposed and shedding a light on this practice.
Thank you so much, Silke. And I have these German capsules as well. I bought them in the Netherlands.
Nice. Thank you so much. Roll, hello. Thank you so much for joining us back. I was wondering if you might have any questions or comments towards the winners now. I know we're starting to wrap up towards the end. But would you like to tack on any questions or comments?
Not necessarily questions. What I want to comment on is that what we see is very powerful, intrinsically driven projects. So the people really, the designers that we are speaking here to, are really doing their work from a very driven, intrinsic urgency. And I think that is really fantastic, because that makes the work very strong. So I would say congratulations to you, and keep up the good spirit. Thank you.
Thank you very much. And in that spirit, I would now like to call upon our last member to share today, who is the YouFab chairman known as Toshiya Fukuda. So Toshiya Fukuda has been chairman for YouFab for a very long time. He's also co-founder of Fab Cafe as well. So I look forward to very much hearing his comment to kind of bring us home and draw our award ceremony for the Global Creative Awards, known as YouFab for 2021, to a close. Toshia-san,
はい。
よろしくお願いします。
はい。太田さん、じゃあトランスレーションお願いします。皆さん長い時間、今日の授賞式にお付き合いいただきありがとうございました。
Thank you all for joining us. And, it's been long, but we really appreciate it.
そして、受賞された皆さん、どうもおめでとうございます。
And congratulations to all the winners.
一番最初にケルシーが説明したように、YouFab っていうアワードって、そのデジタルとリアルのその壁を自由に横断して、そこの境目に生まれる新しい何かを、見つけ出そうぜっていう、そこが、スタートポイントなんですね。
As Kelsey explained in the very first of this meeting, this YouFab is an attempt to sort of transcend digital and real world's border that goes back and forth.
やっぱりそのデジタルテクノロジー進化して、そのやっぱコンピューターの中でできる面白いことっていうのが、今度はそのやっぱリアルな世界にオーバーレイしたときに、そこで生まれる新しいことっていう、やっぱその領域を見ようとしてるわけですよね。
So digital technology started as, and it has progressed, but in the beginning it was happening completed only inside the computer, but now it has sort of come out of the box and then sort of overlaid on top of the real world we live now.
その意味では、そのテクノロジーはどんどんアップデートされていくわけだから、そのアップデートされたテクノロジーがまたそのリアルなワールドにオーバーレイされたときに、その人と人の関係とどう変わるのかなとか、社会との関係とか、あるいは環境ってどう変わるのかなとか、アートってどう変わるのかなとか。
And so the technology alone, it would progress by itself. But what I'm interested in is that that technology sort of transcend to us and then sort of transform the relation or connection between people or inside and between the societies and even in the environment itself. I'm more now interested in how the technology transforms those outside world.
その意味では、その一般的なアワードみたいに、そのアートカテゴリーとか、そのプロダクトカテゴリーとか、そういうカテゴリーが、存在しないアワードなので、その歴代の審査委員長に、こんなカテゴライズのない、ざっくりしたアワードって審査しにくいってよく怒られてたのね。
So in that sense, this award from the beginning, from the earliest stage, it has become something that is not just confined to a technology area, but it also has a lot to do with art and product making in society, meaning that we do not specify or create the category within the award, but it deals with the attitudes in broader sense. And then that's why all the chief judges up to now in the history of YouFab, they comments that they haven't experienced such an award where no borders exist.
ただそのアップデートされるテクノロジーがそのどういう視座でどういうふうにそのオーバーレイするのかっていうそこだけを見るアワードって他にないから、そのユニークネスが僕たちの持ち味でもあったわけなんですよね。
And so from the beginning, our award is very unique in that the judgment process sort of evaluate and reflects on how the technology overlays to different systems or different world in different ways. So that was our focus, and that sets our award separate apart from the others similarly structured art and design award.
その中で今年、伊藤亜紗さんが審査委員長として、デモクラティックエクスペリメントっていう、そういうテーマを与えてくださったことで、そのパワーの中に、今年らしい審査と、今年らしい、蔵書が、できて、本当に良かったと思っています。
And in that spirit, I'm very appreciative of Asa came up with the theme democratic experiment, and then it turned out it made this year's award very special and unique, and the work selected reflects that uniqueness, and I'm very grateful for that.
また来年以降もどんどん境目っていう概念そのものはなくなるのかもしれないけど、その僕らの、リアルなワールドにどう新しい視座でそのテクノロジーのそのオーバーレイをしてくれるのかっていう、その挑戦に、多くの方がまた挑戦してくださることを期待しています。受賞された皆さんおめでとうございました。
So going forward, we intend to keep this award in a way that it focuses on the new perspectives that new technological advancement brings to overlay atop of the real world we all live. And we would like to keep that spirit. And then again, I congratulate all of you who has received the awards, and thanks everyone involved.
ありがとうございました。Thank you very much.
Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, Toshio Fukuda, for your very inspiring comment. And with this, I would like to draw today's award ceremony to a close. My sincerest thanks to all of the judges, to all of the winners, to everyone and anyone out there who has felt empowered to ask themselves the question, what do you fab, and find an interesting answer to this. These are very trying times and very interesting moments in the world of democracy. And so from the bottom of my heart, I appreciate all of your time to join us here today. Thank you very much. And with this, I would like to draw the event to a close. Goodbye.
Bye-bye.
So are we still taking a photo or just saying goodbye?
We might still be recording live.
撮りましょ
う。Okay. YouTube は
YouTube もまだつながってますよ。
We're still on YouTube live. Okay. We have officially ended stream. Thank you.